solve a system of equation using the graphing method, it means that you need to graph both of these equations into the coordinate plane. So ideally, you want all equations to look like y equals mx plus b. That way you can easily identify the slope and the y-intercept. The top equation is already in that form, so we don't need to do anything to that one. But the bottom equation, that one is written in standard form, and we need to write it in slope-intercept form. So what you do here is you want to draw a line, and your goal is to get the y by itself. So if you notice, you have three parts, 3x, 4y, and 12. And on the left side, 3x does not belong because we only want the y's on the left side. The y stays, so you just bring down the 4y. And that 3x needs to be eliminated. So it needs to become 0. So the only way a number can be eliminated, you have to subtract or add. In this case, we're going to subtract 3x from both sides because whatever you do to one side of the equation, you got to do the other. And when you do that, you now have to rewrite these two parts separate, following mx plus b. Mx is one thing, b is the other. So this one with the x, that replicates more mx. So we're going to write negative 3x. And then that 12, that's a positive 12. So we're going to put plus 12. So we have placed all these three different terms almost in the y equals mx plus b form that we want. So the last thing that you need to do is get rid of this coefficient, the 4 in front of the y. And you need to divide by 4 because right now 4y is multiplying 4 times y. So to undo that, you have to divide by 4. Your answer ends up being 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. But whenever we have 1y or 1x or 1 anything, we really don't write the 1. It's just invisible. You are to assume that anytime you have a variable by itself, there is a 1 in there. So now we need to divide these two by 4. So therefore, this ends up being negative 3 over 4x, and 12 divided by 4 gives you positive 3. So our two equations are going to be y equals 2x minus 8, and y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. So let's go ahead and graph it. First equation, we're going to look at the y-intercept, negative 8. So we're going to plot a point at negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the number next to the x, that's your slope. Ideally, you want to look at it as rise over run, a fraction, rise over run. So if it's a whole number, you put it over 1. So that means you're going to rise 2 and run 1. Rise 2, run 1. This is where your next point is at, your next order pair. However, you don't want to write the loops as you go through them, so you just want to keep the points. So move 2 up, rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And just keep going until you fill in the coordinate plane with points following that ratio. So that way when you create the other line, you can see where those two lines meet, because that will be your solution. All right, let's do the next one. So the next one is going to be y-intercept of 3. So we're going to start at 3, 1, 2, 3. And the slope is going to be negative 3 over 4. So rise over run. That means negative 3. We're going to go down 3. We're going to rise negative, so down, and then run forward 4. So from this point, positive 3, we're going to move down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then across 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you put a dot, but you don't have to trace the loops. Just put the dots. So 1, 2, 3 down, 4 across. The next point will be right here. And when you run out of space, you want to reverse yourself. So now instead of going down and right, we're going to go up and left. So we're going to go up 3 and 4 across. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. And once again, erase the loops and just leave the points. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, rise 3, run 4. And then now, just by looking at these, you can tell that where they intersected was this point. So this point of intersection is your solution. So whenever you're asked to solve for a system of equations that has two equations, that means you're going to graph those two lines and find what point do those two lines meet. Here we meet at 4 as an x value and 0 as a y value. So this is your solution. I hope this video helped.